How are you, mate?
You got me there?
Yeah, we've got you. How are you?
I'm well, mate.
Thank you so much for joining us. We've got quite a big crowd already, so I'm gonna. Normally, I ask the individual to tell us about himself and introduce him, but seeing though you're an idol of mine, I'm gonna do that for you. So,
thank you very much.
Look, guys, I thought about how to do this all night, and I think it's quite safe to say that we don't have kings and queens in shooting, but if we did, we're talking to royalty today. We've got an absolute legend of the sport, a hero of mine, six Olympic Games, 2 gold medals, 5 gold at the Commonwealth Games, 3 silver at the Commonwealth Games, world records. I mean, I'm not going to waste 2 hours listing what you've won, but that's pretty much the big stuff right there. Dude, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on the program tonight, Ben.
How's things over there? So let's kickstart before we get into things. I know you've had a few health issues. How are they for you now?
Well, yeah, I'm a lot better, mate. I'm definitely on the improve. I've had cardiomyopathy, as well, in Latham's terms, heart failure to a lot of people who are listening. And the doctors don't actually understand why I've received this health issue. But the good news is that my heart was at 10%, now it's up to 30% on the improve.
Oh, nice.
So apparently you can beat cardiomyopathy. And, with the latest technology in medicine, I'm proving to actually, so far, be defeating it.
Excellent, mate.
Yeah.
That's pretty much a story of your life, though, isn't it? You find battles and you beat them. That's... I think it's a mindset thing as well, isn't it? It's fight or flight. You either get in or you get out.
Yeah, I'm prepared to fight. So I've never really in my life turned away from a challenge, and this is most definitely the greatest challenge of my entire career. And I'm in for the long haul.
So I notice you're a family man. Got 3 daughters.
Yes, correct. I have 3 beautiful young ladies at present. The oldest one is 17, and boy, don't I know that. My number 2 is 13, she's going on 23, and my number 3, well, she's the ringleader at a tender age of 8 years of age, and they're all beautiful girls, so I've got a great expense ahead of me.
I bet they got a little worried about Dad, didn't they? Are they any interested in shooting or anything, Michael? Have they got an interest to go down that line?
Sorry, Ben, we've got a connection problem here. What was that?
Have they got any interest in shooting? Do they shoot at all?
No, they're AFL players, actually.
Oh, really?
2 oldest kids, yeah. My 2 oldest daughters love playing AFL, and they're very, very good at it. They've got a natural talent, hand-to-eye coordination with the ball, and they're like their father, they can run.
Were they around when you were competing, the eldest one? Did she get to see you compete?
Yes, she did. My oldest one has very vivid memories of the father at the Olympic Games. And
oh, really? She got to see you at the games too?
Yeah, absolutely. And she also got to see me run the torch for the Commonwealth Games when it came through Brisbane and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, the kids have been a great inspiration in my life and support, for the sport that I love the most.
We had Russell on the other day. He was speaking very, very highly of you. How your guys' friendship spans many, many years and many, many gold medals, I believe.
Yes, we've been great teammates for a long time. Russell I consider like my brother, really. We've had our ups in sport and we've had our downs in sport. He's the guy that I've always confided in and consoled, and in turn has given me great advice on many things, and we've become very close, not only competitors but also great mates.
Yeah.
And I think that no matter who you are in sport, I think that you've got to have excellent camaraderie, and you've also got to, have a great relationship with your competitors. In order to be a winner, you've got to be a better loser.
Agreed, 100%. I think it's one of the sports, you're going to be remembered forever as the best, for me, Olympic trench shooter that's ever lived. But I bet you did more losing than you did winning. That's the nature of the beast. You win the ones that you want to win, and you lose some of the others.
Well, that's just the nature of the beast, like you say. And being involved in the sport at that level for so long, you can't win all of them, as they say. I've had a fantastic, illustrious career in my sport at elite level, and very, very grateful for every moment that I have had at top level. And
there's been plenty of them, which we're going to get to shortly. Michael, on my screen here, I've got a live feed rolling with a lot of your fans, and they're asking questions. So I'm going to be asking my questions, and I'm going to feed back to their questions too. So
thank you.
We've got a question here. Michael, I sincerely hope you're coming back into competition. Do you have any thoughts on this and maybe 2024 Olympics?
Yes, I do actually. In 2024 Olympics are very realistic for me. Given the day and time at the moment, there'd be no way I would be able to even pick a shotgun up.
Yeah.
But I'm sure within the next few years I will be definitely, hopefully fit enough to be able to get back into the sport that I love the most, and fingers crossed, and from my mouth to God's ears, be able to represent at Olympic level again.
Does the fire still burn?
Oh yeah, more so now that I'm becoming healthier.
Yeah.
I relive a lot of moments, within my thoughts and so forth, and it does bring the hunger or the beast back out.
And he was some beast, eh?
I think I'd be a better shooter now than ever.
That's dangerous, dude. That's dangerous.
To be honest with you, I'm a lot calmer and all that sort of stuff, so it's great.
A question here from James Johnston. Who was your greatest rival in your career?
Oh, definitely Giovanni Palermo.
The Italian.
Yes, wherever we went for a long time, it was either me or him. And may I take my hat off to Johnny Palermo while I had this opportunity, because he is a fantastic competitor, and not to mention he's a great guy as well. And not to mention also, I would have to say Alexei Alipov.
Yeah, he's still going, isn't he?
Yeah, so we've all locked horns, and we're all a force to be reckoned with for a long time. I would say at least a decade.
At least, yeah. If you look at six Olympic Games that you've been to, let's get back into the Olympic Games, because I think that's the elite. That's where the best of the best are remembered from. Which was your first Games?
Barcelona in 1992.
And what were your thought process going into that? Was that did you treat that as a stepping stone? Did you go there for gold? Did you go there to learn? What was the process?
Yeah, I went there for a teaching lesson, to be honest with you. And that's exactly what I got. I missed the final by 1 point. I shot 193 out of 200 back in the days when you qualified out of 200 targets, and missing the final by 1 point. So I thought, wow, this is my first Olympic Games. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. These people that I've met at the Olympic Games are great to be around, and they really pushed me to the limits. And at that point in time of my life, that was my limit. And so I could only improve from that moment forth.
Yeah.
And then when I came back home to shoot, then I become better again.
And after Barcelona was...
Barcelona, then there was Atlanta.
And what happened?
1996.
And that culminated in a gold?
Gold.
How did that feel? With that, I suppose 4 years of pressure. Is that in an interview? It's quite difficult to, because we've just jumped 4 years. But what a lot of people don't understand is the work rate that went into those 4 years.
That's correct.
So
that's correct. There was a lot of work rate.
Yeah.
A lot of World Cup events. So, you've got World Cup events, and you've also got a lot of training, weekend training. You've got national competitions, and you've got state competitions spread right across the 4 years. And, from Olympics to Olympics, it's really just a building block.
Yeah.
It really is. So all of that, the 3 years prior to the Olympic Games is just a stepping stone or a building block time period to make yourself peak at the right time.
What did you go there? How did you feel? So we went to Barcelona for a lesson. What was the process behind Atlanta? What was the mindset going into Atlanta?
Well, actually, my scores jumped by 30% just prior to Atlanta.
Right.
And I stumbled across this brand new training program that I had come across, and it was individualised. So where I would only practice once every 6 weeks.
Oh, really?
Pick the shotgun up. Only practice every 6 weeks.
Really?
And therefore I started listening to my soul as opposed to when I was hungry to actually shoot. So when I went shooting, I was actually very, very hungry. I wasn't burnt out.
Got it, yeah.
So my father, who trained me and who was my personal coach, was a person that believed that you should shoot every weekend. Weekend in, weekend out. Gun club training. So trust me, believe me when I say this to you, I was the guinea pig. That is not correct. It's quantity over quality. It's quality over quantity.
Yeah.
In a major way. So when I then started backing off on my training, my scores went through the roof.
Really?
So come Atlanta, I shot 124 out of 125 in the qualifying. I never felt so good.
Really? I didn't know that. That's why some people said to me, "Are you going to call him first?" I said, "No. I want to be as shocked at this interview. I want this information to be first hand to me." See, I didn't know any of that. I just assumed you were one of these pedal to the metal and let's burn some ammo.
No, it was quite the reverse, in fact. And when I got to the Olympic Games, well, I was as fresh as anything. My competitors, they were at every World Cup as we were, but I wasn't shooting much practice prior to any World Cup.
Really?
So my practice was basically at the range.
Yeah.
And my practice was getting my timing back, just that brief amount of timing back for the competition. And I was majorly peaking at the right time during that event. And it was really testing to want to do that. I don't know a lot of people that have ever done that, but I decided to live on the wild side.
Not like you.
Just like that. and it really worked for me, come the Olympic Games, I set a new Olympic record at 149 out of 150.
Yeah, so I've got the scores here.
And yeah, I was really, really impressed with that. My father couldn't believe the way I was shot, and he commented particularly on the amount of training that we did, and it wasn't very much. And He said, "Well, I'll be damned. I wouldn't have thought that."
Yeah, and then the cycle continues. We leave 1996. You've got the gold medal. You've achieved the dream. Now, what happened to the fire? Did the fire dampen for a little bit, or was it no? The next games are on home soil, and I want to be better. Or did you take some off time? What was your next cycle for the Olympics?
Yes, I took a little bit of off time. We had the World Championship shortly after, and they were in Peru.
Right. So
yeah, I never shot very well there. I think I was coming on a bit of a low, coming off a high, which is fine. And then once I got home, then I had a big break, and then led it into some practice for the competition nationals that we host in Australia every year.
Yeah.
To make the next World Championship team in '97, obviously.
Yeah.
Then I started peaking for that, and then it was business as usual after that, of course, and the World Cups and the World Championship events to lead up to.
And did you feel any more pressure at competing for a gold in Oz? Because I've spoke to a couple of your competitors just to try and get a bit of an insight. And going into Australia, you were the favourite. How did that feel? Being the favourite, home soil, big crowd. You've got Russell trying to get the double trap after you. Was there any more pressure? How did you deal with it? Or was it just, it's a job and I'm here to break clays?
Yeah, it was. I felt an immense amount of pressure.
Yeah,
you know, number one being at home, number two losing my father 3 months prior to the Olympic Games. He was my right hand man. You know, every time I looked behind me, I was always used to seeing my father. Now I had to deal with the fact of him not being there.
Let me just, if I can hold you there 1 second, because I find that interesting. Did you, the first time without your father, did you feel alone on the range?
Yes.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it?
Yes, it was a very chilling feeling, in fact, and you know, the feeling of being in uncharted waters.
Yeah. Even
what I felt.
Even though, with the greatest of respect to anybody's, they can't have an effect on what you do, but they do.
That's correct.
If that makes sense.
Their presence is enough to make an effect on you.
Yeah.
Not to mention the great advice that he used to give me. And then obviously leading into the Olympics, where there was a lot of media hype. And, you know, it was on for young and old. We had to perform. Russell and I, or anyone part of the Australian Olympic team,
it was game on.
Expected to go out there with, you know, all guns blazing.
Yeah.
That's just what we did.
And what was your score in Australia?
147, 150.
Again, it's just unbelievable scores, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
What
Thank you.
The questions are just flying in. I'm going to go back to some of them shortly. Your equipment. If we just spend 5 minutes touching on your equipment. Now, there's a couple of things I want to talk about, but you're pretty much a Perazzi man.
Yes, through and through.
All the way through.
Still am. Yes.
Fiocchi, I know the same thing.
Yes.
But the most
and Cleaver.
Yeah, but the most interesting thing, I've been up all night watching YouTube videos of you. Dude, how can you be as good as you were wearing Ray-Bans?
Well, this goes to show me how good the glasses really are. You've got thousands upon thousands of pounds worth of shooting glasses, and there you are in your Tom Cruise Top Gun aviators with the cardboard in the side. I was like, he's not going to shoot. They look really good.
I was like,
he's the best looking guy on the range with those Ray-Bans on.
I was like, he's not going to shoot in them. He's not going to shoot in them. And I was like, no, he actually is going to shoot in them. Tell me how that came about, because how did you think, right, I'm going to try Ray-Bans?
Well, I'll let you in on a secret, and the viewers and the listeners, of course. So I use Ray-Bans as a fishing lens, and a fishing lens is designed to, you know, polarised lens is designed to cut the glare in the water so that you can see into the water. So why wouldn't you implicate that during the daytime looking at a flying target?
Yeah. But
it really makes sense, because what it does, it cuts the actual background glare out, and it highlights the target even more so. Not leaving a band of UFO tail behind the target at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can see the target as clear as anything. And that is the major key to be able to shoot perfect scores all the time, is to be able to see what you're actually looking at.
Yeah.
Not to guess at what you think you may be looking at.
Yeah, and
but to see what you're looking at.
Did anybody ever try them? Did anybody copy you?
No, not to my recollection.
I bet they wish they did now.
Anybody was crazy enough.
So, talk me through some of the changes. So, when you started, obviously it wasn't 24 grams, was it?
No, correct. It was when I very first started, it was 32 grams.
And
so you know, we went through the evolution of shooting 32 gram loads to then shooting 28 gram loads, and then it evolved from 28 gram loads to 24 gram loads.
And which was your favourite? Which would you go, if you could go to any? Which would you go to?
Oh, the 24 grams.
You prefer the 24 grams?
Oh, I think they were great. Yeah.
Really?
You know, if you know anything about choking, well, I was using a 24-gram number 8 during competition in both barrels.
Oh, really?
With a number 3 choke in the bottom barrel.
So that's quite open.
It's open.
Yeah.
I mean, with number 8, there was no holes in it, but if you put the pattern on the target, you would turn it to dust.
Did you, when you were, obviously, I admire you for being so open now. Were you this open with your competitors then, or is it the camaraderie, I've got full joking, or were you just, no, guys, I'm shooting Ray-Bans, I've got open jokes, number 8s?
No, nobody would know what I was doing. Nobody would want bullets.
That was
a big secret.
That was under lock and key, but I bet, and that leads into my into one of my questions. Obviously, being as successful as you are, and the person that you are, and the aura that you have around you, did you come across jealousy and people being vindictive and sabotage things? Did that ever come into play?
Yeah, I get it today. I mean, you know, I've lived a life of jealousy, and people, you know, if I can give anybody advice and they want to be as good as that person, and stop thinking of being like that person, because you're you and you can be better than anybody in the world as long as you put your mind to it. And I think that you should always have good thoughts about people that are great. And I was always one to go up and congratulate somebody the moment they beat me. It's not that I wanted to be like them or that I'm jealous of them, because I'm me and I can't change that.
Yeah.
So I was very grateful. It was always a learning experience for me. You know, it's jealousy.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I definitely don't want to be like that person.
No, I think that's what we're trying to give as much information. We've got a lot of young aspiring Olympic trap shooters watching. So any advice you have, we're going to get to the technical side. When you were shooting less practice, did you use the World Cups as your pressure practice for the Olympics?
Absolutely.
That was what they were for.
They were my stepping stones into the Olympic Games. I went there purely to suck up the competition and hopefully make finals, and then get that raw feeling of pure adrenaline rushing through your system, and learn then how to control it.
Because one of the most interesting things that I read about you was that you were so focused on the gold. Is that when you said at London you went into the final with a perfect score, but the final didn't go to plan? That happens to everybody. But you knew you wouldn't win the shoot-off for bronze because the gold was gone, and that was the goal.
That's correct.
That's remarkable, eh?
I should have saved 3 bullets or 4 bullets at the time and just held the Harney's hand and said congratulations instead of going into the shoot-off, because I didn't want it.
Can you go into that a little bit deeper? Is that okay? Because I think I think that's amazing, because you look at some people, they get a bronze medal, they drop to their knees, they're crying, and then your attitude is, well, I'm not going to win now, I didn't come for bronze, and I'm sort of checked out. That's remarkable.
Yes, and I hope I don't come across as being selfish.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. This is me you're talking to. I'm the worst of them all.
Thank you. But yes, I seriously had the mindset of winning gold the moment I stepped on the plane in Sydney to depart for London.
Yep.
So it didn't matter who was there. I didn't care. It didn't matter. I just had, the focused mind on doing everything that I had to do right in order to shoot a perfect score. And I was committed in the final on doing the same thing. But I can let you in on a little secret that unbalanced my concentration in the last 5 targets.
Yeah.
I knew where the 5th last target was going. So when I conduct my coaching seminars, I always say to my students, never ever move the gun before you see the target. You've got to see the target appear first, then go for it. Well, I moved the target with the gun, overshooting a high right-hander off station number 1 and missing it. And then all of a sudden I got so cranky at myself because up until that point in time in the final I was only 3 points down.
Yeah.
So that being the fourth point down, and it was a silly mistake, I knew where the last 5 targets were going. So then I thought, well, I recouped myself, and I went and shot my fourth last target and missed it as well. Well, then I really lost my concentration. You know, it was just a lot of bad luck right there and then in a moment, a split second, and that's the beauty of our sport, how quickly you can go from caviar to a chicken dinner.
And then the bronze just really didn't matter to you?
No, it didn't. I wasn't there for bronze.
If you didn't have the golds, would the bronze have mattered?
If I'd have struggled to get into that final and I hadn't shot a perfect score, yeah, I probably would have tried a lot harder in the missing out shoot-off.
Yeah.
Because I would have struggled to get into that final. But I've done it so easily because mentally I was there.
Everything was ready.
I was ready. I got prepared the last 4 years for that very moment. You know, and
I find it phenomenal, and that's why I was so excited when you said you'd come on. I mean, it was I think that's serious, you know, to have that big stepping stone in life and to be there at the gladiator battle of shooting. It's like done. That ain't. I'm out. I didn't come for that. Somebody else can have it. So I find that amazing. Leaving the Olympics behind for a little bit, how important to you were the Commonwealth Games? Because at one point in time, they might as well have named them the Michael Diamond Games.
Well, the Commonwealth Games were a great event, I thought. Competition between the Commonwealth and it was a beautiful event, I thought, in the sense of the competition. It didn't matter whether it was a Commonwealth Games, to be honest with you, or an Olympic Games, because you still had to shoot really good scores.
Yeah.
It's surprising. It was really surprising. You know, the nuts and bolts of the Commonwealth Games were as tough as the Olympic Games.
Yeah, because I mean, it's still the big show, isn't it?
Yes, correct. I mean, okay, you haven't got the Alexei Alipovs, Giovanni Palelios, you know, but you do have the Sandus, the Michael Diamonds, the Adam Bellas, you know, and not to mention a lot of other great shooters from the Commonwealth Games that pose to be a problem anytime they wish to.
But they didn't pose that many problems because we've got 5 golds and 3 silvers, so they didn't pose too many problems.
Yes, we had a great time at the Commonwealth Games.
And like you say, you were a torchbearer. That must have been interesting.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed the feeling of bearing the torch on a part of the leg.
Yeah.
And my kids were there to experience it, so that makes it all...
Yeah, massive. They must have been proud of Dad.
They were very proud at that point in time. Yeah.
If you're a clay pigeon shooter in England and we had the Commonwealth Games, the only thing they'd let you carry is the wheelie bin. That's all they let us. You can tow the wheelie bin out from the back of the food tent. That's about your lot. So they're not going to look. The questions are flying in, as I knew they would. Do you mind going into a little bit of your technique?
No, not at all. I had a very standard technique, I thought. My preparation was I was mentally prepared when the gun had closed, really. And so when the gun mounted on my shoulder, I would place the gun on top of the trap house, and then I would basically wait for my eyes or my peripheral vision to focus on that point, on where I would look out past the trap house.
Yep.
And then call for the target immediately, not bearing any moments after, not delaying any time.
What was I've been asked this question 11 times by 11 different people. What was the separation between, so in relation to the marker on the lid, where was your barrel and how much above your barrel were your eyes?
My barrel was 2 foot below the marker, and my eyes were 1 metre above the marker.
So you were very low and a lot of separation.
A very low separation, not a very big separation between the gun and the eye.
Yeah.
As you can't have.
Yeah.
But at the same token, you can't have anything in the way of your eyesight because it impairs what you're trying to see very quickly.
Yep.
Which is the clay target. So therefore, my soft vision was approximately 1 metre round, just above the dot on the surface of the trap house.
Superb. That's what everybody wanted to know. I think because when I shot Olympic trench for a few years back, and everybody used to say, "Oh, Michael used to hold low," and I was like I'm going to ask you because there's a question here. So I don't know this, by the way. I'm just going to read the question. After the Australian gun ban in early 1996, then later that year you win the gold. Do you think you held the torch for all Australian shooters?
Yes, absolutely. Myself, Russell Mark and Desiree Huddleston, who competed at the Atlanta Olympic Games, I believe reformed the gun laws.
Really?
On what they would have been.
Well, I don't know anything about that because I was still swimming around. So lead us into that. So what was the gun ban?
Well, we had a tragic time take place down in a place called Tasmania.
Yep.
And the given place being Port Arthur, where there was a shooting massacre.
Okay.
So all great Australians that held gun licences would have lost their firearms.
Wow.
I believe. Well, we're heading down that road. It would have been only a matter of time.
Wow.
But I believe that the Olympic gold medals won at Atlanta, and especially the first one being won for the country, was from shotgun shooting, had definitely stopped the steamroll effects.
Yeah. Huge. I didn't know that. That's huge.
Very big, yeah.
So there you are, a debt of gratitude for that. Well done, man.
Thank you. Very lucky.
But look, one thing I can categorically assure you of, my shooting level is in a different form, but I do know that luck has nothing to do with it. That I do know. We can argue about that because I know luck does not come into it.
I had a great second barrel, and I believe a little bit of luck was involved with that one.
Nothing can deviate them pellets. Pellets meet clay, or they don't. There's no luck. Now, interesting question coming up, Kurt, because I've had a question from an Olympic trap competitor that he'd heard a rumour that you lived off your second barrel. What would you say to that?
Very correct.
So how did that affect your mindset in the final when you didn't have it?
Well, yes, I definitely had to evolve with my single barrel shooting. I averaged around about 22 single barrels per round in the qualifying. So I knew with a little bit more tender loving care in practice I could actually, get up to 23 or possibly 24 constantly. Yeah. And very consistently. And I was working well and truly on my way up to that. In the late 2015s, early 2016s, I was a different person. Yeah. With single barrel. Unfortunately, I never got to showcase it to the world. Yeah. But yeah, I was averaging 23 per round. Nice. And I would have, in a sense, I believe I could have gone to a competition, and I was going to, only shooting single barrels, just a global club competition. Okay, just to test it out. And just shoot single barrel under pressure. Whether it be 100 targets or 125 target comp, I would have done it single barrel, but I never got to test that out, unfortunately. I believe that is the essence of great finals, is getting your single barrel down pat. Yeah, and I must have watched 30 finals over the last 2 days with Russell and James Willett and Coward Holly, and there does seem to be a pattern that to get a good final, you've got to start well. That's correct. I've noticed that. I don't know anything about it, but the earlier in the round that horn goes off, there seems to be a pattern. Correct. It puts a lot of pressure on people. And I mean, you've got to be really mentally tough to be able to survive that horn going off in the first 5 targets of that single barrel final. You really, really do. But the thing is, it changes the dynamics when you only got one bullet in the gun. Not only mentally, but, you know, your timing automatically changes. So you've got to train for this.
Yeah.
You know, given the fact that I cut my teeth for 35 years and shooting 2 shots at one target and then having to evolve. That was a really big ask, you know. But I was happy to have evolved to the point where I did. I still was a thorn in some people's sides, even in the single barrel events.
Because you
could have been better.
Oh, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So unfortunately, Rio didn't happen. Were you a better shot in Rio than London? Do you feel you were a better shooter leading into that?
Oh yes.
Really?
Oh yeah, I saw. Not my double barrel shooting.
Yeah.
I couldn't improve on double barrel.
Yeah, but you've 125 out of 125. Unless you're me, you can only hit 126.
Yeah, but my single barrel I had definitely evolved with it, and I was really, really comfortable with single barrel, and that's the greatest thing for any competitor to get over. Once they're in the final, their heart rate's pumping, it's up around about 140 beats per minute. They've got an injection of adrenaline running through their system. They're shaking, and the idea is to stay calm. Yeah,
and that's the key, isn't it? Learning to shoot and learning to win are two very different things.
It is a completely, entirely different setup.
Yeah, I mean, when you can see that.
And congratulations to the ISSF, because that's what they created. That's what they wanted. They wanted more excitement.
Yeah.
And in turn, in changing the rules here and there, that's what they got. They got great viewing.
What was your relationship like with the ISSF? Did they speak to the top competitors? Did they ask for input, or did this just land in your lap?
This just landed in my lap.
Really?
But I was happy to, give it a good go, because I saw it as a challenge anyways.
Yeah.
And it slowed me down for a little while, but then I got back up to speed with it.
Because you also competed highly in double trap, didn't you?
Yes, correct.
What was did you ever think about that, or Olympic trap is just a love and double trap was a side event?
Yeah, double trap was a side event for me. I used doubles trap as a lever to condition myself into the trap event.
Yeah.
Because I would use, and so therefore 9 times out of 10, it was the double trap that would be on first.
Yeah.
So shooting the doubles trap first had me far more as a competitor going into the trap event. So I never felt the pressure.
Did you
anywhere near as much as if I didn't?
Did you compete in the Olympics in double trap?
Yes, I did.
Superb. I didn't know that either. Excellent.
Sydney 2000.
And how did that go for you? Was that because that was after your gold, wasn't it? You'd already got gold.
Yes, I didn't shoot very well there because
I don't know why.
Obviously, yeah, that's right. I was deflated. It's very tired.
And how was the celebrations though? I don't know. You must have felt a little rough.
Oh yeah, no. We had great celebrations with family, and it went on for about a week. So I think I gained about 5 or 6 pounds in just food alone, and so yeah, I was happy.
Okay, I've got a boatload of questions for you. Hardest target on Olympic trap for you? Low, hard, right, left, high, right, high, left. What was your bogey target?
Low right-hander.
Low right-hander.
That's agreed.
There you go.
Yeah.
In your 6 weeks between practice sessions, did you do any mental training or physical training?
I always did physical training. I trained at the gym 5 days a week, lifting weights and heavy weights.
Yeah.
And my mental preparation was inbuilt in me from a little kid. So really there was not a lot of mental preparation for me to do. This is from a young aspiring British trap shooter.
Do you shoot subconsciously? If you do, how do you achieve that mindset? Or are you a mechanical shooter?
No, I do subconsciously shoot clay targets. I subconsciously envisage every target in the program on that particular layout. When I stand behind the layout and I'm preparing myself mentally,
yeah,
I will see every target and I will think about where I have to in my own peripheral vision sight picture, know when to pull the trigger when the barrels are passing the target.
So you're like preloading the information?
I remind myself
of
where I've got to shoot at that particular target. 25 different targets, 25 different times.
Well, that's why you got 2 gold medals and I'm doing the interview and you're the one being interviewed. What do you think of making Olympic trap a points game where first barrel gets you 2 points, second barrel gets you 1 point, etc.?
I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, not into that. Not down the line. Did you shoot top or bottom barrel first? I think you were bottom barrel, weren't you? I've just been watching that.
Always bottom, yes.
So somebody's put here, Ben, you feed off negativity. So put me in an arena and people be negative or derogatory to me, you're not going to beat me. Did that happen to you? Is the question from somebody else here.
Absolutely, I used to thrive on that.
Yeah, me too.
Because I used to get it everywhere I go.
Yeah.
And all I would say is, well, we'll see, won't we?
Yeah, it's the easiest way.
And that's it.
Anybody can write something on Facebook, but when we stood next to each other, we're going to find out who hits the most. You can't hide from that.
Correct.
You know, that's
they can't do the talking.
Top Australian shooters get so much more attention than the top UK shooters, which is great for the sport, but is it great for the individual? So after your gold in Sydney, I know the answer to this because I've seen it. You were starting to get noticed in that. Did you like it? Did your family feel it hard to deal with, or how did you just take it in your stride?
Yes, I just took it in my stride. I mean, I was brought up to be a humble person. It never changed me one bit.
Yeah.
I'm still the same today as I was when I was 15. And it is true, we do get a lot of attention. It's the kind of sport in Australia that's been socially accepted.
Right.
Because people have distinguished the fact between the good of the sport and the bad on the streets.
Yeah.
We're not like that. You know, we're a completely different set of people altogether. And in that I commend the sport on its travels and where it's gone since the birth of shooting in Australia in '96. It's gone leaps and bounds. You know, with our young generation coming through, it's time for them to hold the torch now.
Yeah. But they've still got to beat the old guard when he comes back.
Yeah.
Do you have any non-shooting sports personalities that inspired you?
No, not really. No, not at all.
No, nothing like say. I was lucky enough. I always admired Usain Bolt, and I finally got to meet him when I was in Jamaica, and that was epic. That's one of the, like I said, that's how I felt when you were coming on today.
Well, thank you so much. That humbles me very much, Ben. Actually, I stand to be corrected. There is only one sportsman I've ever looked up to, and that was Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. And so I'm the same. Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. I love people that can just master a game, and when people get jealous of the mastery of a sport, I admire them even more. And I think that's what led me to, follow your career, that you were so good and it pissed so many people off, so you pissed them off even more, and that just falls into my lap like, yeah, that's me all over. That's just how I roll. That's me. So have you ever shot sporting clays?
Oh, only a handful of times, but I quite enjoy the discipline very much, actually.
That's from Bruce's shooting. How does Michael believe Australia achieved the positive view towards the sport? Is there anything specific Australia did? From Mark Nick.
Yes, I think that, myself and my fellow competitors that won gold at the Olympics, being Russell, my good friend, Desiree Huddleston, Adam Vella, who we both won gold together at the Commonwealth Games. Once we get on TV, I think people then tend to get an idea of your, the way you are as a person.
Your persona and your humility and stuff,
People tend to get a sense of how you are and how you speak. And I think that boosts the profile of the sport generally on itself.
Yeah, massive.
And once they repeatedly see you, I think then they get a really good stranglehold on the sport and then start to follow it.
And I think gold medals just help, don't they? Significantly. We've had 2 gold medals, but we just don't play them up. Nobody else, apart from shooters, would ever know they were won, and that's where we fail as a nation.
We get very good publicity here. It's great to see. Yeah.
What age did you start shooting?
At the age of 8.
So I've heard rumours that what age were you when you shot your first 100 at down the line?
Oh, 9.
Yeah,
I was 9 years old.
I heard that.
It was only 9.
That's incredible. I can't remember where I was. I was definitely in Australia, and they said they used to see you at the gun club, like playing on a mat inside the clubhouse, and you just walk out, shoot 25, come back in, and start playing again.
It was quite funny. My mother used to rep me up a little bit. She tried to bribe me, and she'd come up to me and say, "Look, Michael, if you go out and shoot the next 25 targets without missing, you've got a choice of $100 or a can of Coca-Cola. What would you like?" And I say, "I'll take the can of Coca-Cola." I noticed when I become my late teens, my early 20s, she never used to offer me that anymore.
Yeah, you missed out on thousands. Okay, I don't understand this question, so it's going to be an Olympic trap-based question. It must be for you. Do you believe Ricciardo has got a world championship in him? I don't understand the question, but...
I don't know who he's talking about, Ricciardo.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I think everybody's got a chance to win. They've just got to allow themselves mentally to be that good enough.
Yeah.
And the difference is what is between your ears and how you're thinking on the day that actually determines whether you're going to win or lose.
As you've already attested to with London.
Yeah, correct. I mean, anybody can win.
Favourite range?
Leonardo.
So I've got to ask this because I've asked everybody else. What makes Leonardo difficult? Because everyone said it's difficult, but no one can tell me why.
I'll tell you why. It's because you can see the target so well.
Really? You move too early?
They're travelling faster than they look.
Right.
And they catches everyone out.
Because of the big green netting and the big green background, you see that, or you see them big as a house. I've shot Leonardo, but only for FITAS.
Absolutely. That is the big thing. It's as crystal clear, geographically perfect as you would like it.
Yeah.
The visibility is 100%, whether the sun is shining or whether it is cloudy. You can still see that target as big as a football.
Right.
And that is where people go wrong.
So because you see them well, they appear slow, and they get slow off the mark.
They become complacent and lazy.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Instead of having the foot down and being aggressive.
Makes sense. Do you prefer a heavy and less recoil gun or a light gun that's going to kick a little more? What's your preference there?
A heavier gun.
What length barrels are on yours?
29.5.
29. That's been a common theme.
With 1620 barrel weights.
Really?
Yeah, very heavy gun.
Yeah, that's their heavy barrels, isn't it? What's the heaviest? 1690, I think, isn't it?
1690, but the gun in total weighed 10 pounds.
Really?
The greatest thing with that gun, the reason for my good second barrel shooting,
it's steady.
Was because once you got the gun moving,
it stayed moving.
Effortless.
Yeah.
It stayed moving.
Okay, interesting question for you. Where did you generally miss?
Sometimes, and more times than not, in the first 5 targets, and that was just getting warmed up.
Yeah.
The nerves settling in, and generally it would be in the first 5.
Superb. Did your fishing help you with your competitive shooting? That's from a fisherman.
No, not really. My fishing helped me relax a lot.
Yeah, switch off.
And switch off completely to shooting, and then I had another life, and that was great because when I went back to shooting, I gave it everything I had.
Yeah.
And then when I wasn't shooting, I really enjoyed my fishing.
Okay, so let's go. We've had the hiatus from the sport. We've not been competing due to health. What are you going to change from Michael Diamond getting ready for Rio to the possibility of Michael Diamond shooting 2024? Any significant changes in kit, mindset, technique, anything that you're starting to get that hunger to change?
No, I would keep exactly the same mannerisms as what I had prior.
Yeah.
There's no reason to change. It worked. It was working really, really well, especially for my single barrel.
Yeah.
So I would just adopt those characteristics once yet again and probably enjoy the sport a lot more, because it wouldn't be like work for me again. You know, like at this age I'm turning 48 in May, I can honestly say that I would treat it more recreational rather than as work.
But in my opinion of studying many sports, that will make you more dangerous.
Well, I hope so.
You know, when you can pull that trigger and enjoy the moment that could lead, I think that makes you dangerous. And that's what I think made me dangerous as a competitor, because I've got lives away from shooting. It's not the be all and end all. My competitors have nothing but shooting, and that makes them vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know, if I miss it, I'm still going to play rugby Saturday. I'm still going to walk the dogs. I'm going to go to work. If they miss it, it bothers them, and I think that will make you seriously dangerous. I heard a rumor once. Rumors are rumors. That you turned up to an event and there was a problem with your gun not arriving, and you shot different guns for an event. You borrowed guns.
Correct. That's correct. I was actually in Barcelona when that occurred.
Right.
My gun was still coming from Australia, so there was no chance of it making the competition on time. And so I ended up shooting 124 out of 125 with a borrowed gun. I think the barrel weights were something ridiculous, like 1470s. They were super light compared to my 1630s, you know. And I was quite astounded on the performance of the gun. I shot really well with what I had, and while I get this opportunity, or have the opportunity, I'd like to thank the Spanish coach and his great friends for putting that gun together for me, because we got a stock from somewhere, and we got another action from somewhere else, and we got a set of barrels that it all coagulated together. So it allowed me to compete at that World Cup event, and I was grateful. Thank you so much.
Unbelievable. I was going to say something there. That just totally threw me off. The gun you will come back to shooting with, is that the gun you won the games with?
Yes.
Did you get anything nice from Parazzi for the golds?
Oh, Parazzi is my family, and they treated me like their family.
Yeah.
And to me, it wasn't. Yes, I did. They rewarded me very well, but it was more family orientated that I believed in rather than the.
No, I didn't know. What I meant by that was I didn't know if you had like a nice engraved gun, an action, or something pretty to remind you of those golds.
Absolutely. They really did reward me nicely for my gold medals and my hard work efforts. But the thing that I love about Parazzi, and I can't stress to people about enough, is that once you are under their wing, you're there forever. You're just not another number.
Yeah. Michael, give me 1 second, because this Instagram's going to end. I'm going to restart it. Like I say, I apologise for that, because obviously you've done the work and you were there to deserve it. So thanks for being open and honest about that. That's amazing that you've done that. We'll leave that in the past and move forward.
Thanks, man.
So, last question from me. Michael Diamond, his heart's back working. He's given the go-ahead. How long before you would be back to your best?
12 months.
You reckon do it inside a year, really? That's amazing.
Inside a year.
Wow.
I say 12 months very, very relaxed, because I think it could be a little bit shorter than that, to be honest with you. But I give myself 12 months as a target, something to aim for. I don't think that's unrealistic at all.
You know yourself better than anybody else. That's That's for certain. So that'd be impressive, and I'm certainly going to be watching in the background, hoping you go and achieve this. So, look, that's over an hour we've been chatting for. I know it's getting late over there, so if there's no more questions from you guys, I was a Michael Diamond fan before, even more so now. Great interview. I think we're all caught up. So, Michael, one question. New Perazzi High-Tech or MX-2000?
Perazzi High-Tech. High-Tech.
And the people are asking, I'm going to ask you in front of them, do you mind in another 10 days if we do part 2?
No, I would only be honoured.
There you go, guys.
Thank you for having me on your program.
There'll be a part 2. So, Michael, from me, thank you for everything you've done for the sport. People are saying on here, thank you for what you've done for sport in Australia. I appreciate you, and I know all these guys do. So, good luck with your health, and we hope to see you back, and I'll contact you, and we'll get part 2 set up.
Thank you, Ben. I'd like to thank everybody for watching.
All right, man. Thank you, dude. Take care.
Thanks, Benny. You too.
Bye-bye, dude. Bye.
Bye.